Alright guys, we're going to do a little progress report here just to show like how things are progressing around the garden and the landscaping project that we got going on. Here's a few plants we had in the greenhouse and we brought them onto the front porch. It just makes it look nicer, and we're also redoing the greenhouse a little bit. So a little bit of lettuce here, it's looking real nice. And these are some new starts. We've got some more lettuce in another bed, but this is what we've got here. This is a goji berry. It hasn't been doing so great. It's had a little powdery mildew, but it is looking better. But yeah, so let's take a little walk around here. So we brought our fig tree out here, letting it get some full sun. We're going to put it in the ground soon, so hopefully it will be easy to get out of this big huge pot. It's pretty dadgum heavy, so hopefully we don't break the pot trying to get it out. I did the next layer of plant rings here and started backfilling them with some soil that I had laying around the house, that I dug up other places or picked up at some point. So I've got it over to this point. I still have to fill these completely. All of these are empty. I've just got some dirt clods drying out to kill the grass, because this is pretty good soil, but I don't want the grass in there. But I have to backfill these, so I don't want to go another layer and then have to backfill them. We've got dirt coming in the next couple of weeks, so hopefully then we'll backfill them. This is a little citrus tree that is just starting to get a few blooms on it. We've got some yellow leaves, so I think we need to add a little fertilizer to it, but it's starting to bloom. This is a lime tree that is doing quite well. Hopefully we'll have some fruits on it. We've got quite a few. There was a lot of blooms on here earlier in the year, and they've all kind of fallen off, and hopefully we'll get a few limes out of it real soon, start going. This is the walkway, and I just put in the last, I don't know what they call them, L-steins or L-stones. They're like little retaining wall parts. So I've got the retaining wall completed here, and I put in this last piece that I had to cut and break it and kind of basically glue it in with some mortar. So it's completed now, and we can now backfill this and get it full of dirt as well. Reshaped the mulch beds here so that they're a little bit more, not square, a little more organic looking. And still have to add just a little bit of mulch, but it's almost complete. I've got the stairs. We still have to add some stones on the edges and fill in around the diagonal stones. We've got some pots from the front yard here that we've got some mints in, and we put in our pepper plant, or transplanted it into this raised bed, and transplanted all of our onions. They took a little beating while we were transplanting them, but they'll be okay. We got some transplanted tomato plants that will get put into a raised bed more than likely, but right now we just repotted them. This one will stay here and climb up the trellis. Got tomatoes and basil growing together. This is some kohlrabi. Looks like it needs a little water. Kind of gotten a little limp overnight. We have a banana tree here that our uncle gave us, Uncle Dieter. And then we've got some, this is what is that called? Got multiple ones. Got two here. Let's see that sun. Have two here. Hostas. And hostas are actually edible plants. So we've got 4 hostas. One is in the pot here. So they're cool little plants, but they are edible. Our berry bushes. And we've also got the lettuce growing here. This is looking real nice. This was all started from seed and was transplanted about 2 weeks ago, I guess. And all the old leaves, non-sun hardy leaves, have died off, and I plucked all them off the other day. And now everything, the growth is getting very vigorous. You can see here, these are finally starting to recover from being transplanted. Some of them not looking so good. That one's not looking so good. But we did some carrots in here. We sprouted some carrots, but we haven't seen any carrots actually come up yet. And this is these 2 heads, and these 2, which aren't looking so great, they were transplanted from the grocery store. So we bought some lettuce at the grocery store, and they still had the root balls on them, so we just dropped them down into the bed, and these are doing really nice. I think these are going to make it, but they're not doing as well. But we'll see how things go. It's kind of a free planting. Got the steps or the walkway kind of done going to the door here. It's going to wrap around and go to the back of the house. And I got all the plant rings put in here. We're going to fill these with herbs and flowers and possibly some berry bushes or some kind of edible bush, but most everything will be edible. But that'll make this, kind of insulates the wall and gives it some prettiness. We've got the topinambur, which is a sunflower, grown for the roots as well, kind of like a potato replacement. So they're doing really well. They were planted from small root balls, but there was no growth on the root ball. So this is all brand new growth this year, and they've really started sprouting a lot. And this is a little pine tree that I pulled out of the forest over the winter and brought it home and put it in a pot. I'm going to put it in the back of the property here, just to add a little different color and texture. So we've gotten the back of the house kind of cleared off here. We did have a big pile of glass blocks that were here, and we're wanting to build a sunroom onto the back of the house here. And so we're slowly kind of cleaning this off and gonna get it ready. We have, I picked up a whole load of large windows and doors yesterday. I still have to go pick up one of these large ones. And we're gonna use those, repurpose them into a greenhouse or sunroom winter garden. And this is where we put all of our glass blocks to just kind of get them out of the way. They were not stacked very well, so now they're better stacked. And we're going to use some of these for greenhouse, and we're also going to use some in the front of the house to replace the barn door and put in a more normal door. So over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be starting a big project. We've got a local guy here that's building a house, and he's removing a bunch of dirt from his property. So we're going to backfill this hill here. Let's see if you can see how steep this hill is here. So basically going to backfill from where the pallet is here. We're going to bring it out level and then slope it off pretty considerably. And the slope will probably come out to about where that little tree is. We're going to replace this, or we're going to replant or move this pear tree to a different spot in the property, because when we put this in the ground, we weren't expecting to get all this free dirt. We're going to repot this, or not repot, but transplant the fig tree somewhere. We set it out here just to be out here in the bright sun because it was in the greenhouse. You can see here we've got some moles that make nice little mounds, and I just come out with the shovel and shovel the top of the mounds off, and then I use those to go in my raised beds and pots and stuff like that, just to mend them a little bit. But it's pretty decent topsoil, so it doesn't take a whole lot of work to make it good. So we repotted or transplanted this is a cherry tree. Transplanted it the other day, and I cut the grass away just to kind of give us a little kidney bean shape of a like a little decorative area. We'll probably add some more flowering bushes and things like that to attract the pollinators. And then we have a this is a, what is this? This is a plum. It's a plum tree, and it's going to go here, but as I was digging, I ran into some really hard red clay. So I think it's deep enough, but I want to get out here with a digging bar and break up the red clay a good bit deeper than what it is now before I put this in the ground. That'll give the roots a lot of space to grow and spread out. As you can see there, the layer of topsoil is probably somewhere around probably about 6 inches thick, but it's pretty rocky. So I'm gonna get the digging bar out, chop it up, try to get this thing maybe 2 to 3 feet deep, make a really nice big hole, and then backfill it with more of the topsoil and some amendments. Then we're going to be using these piles of sticks. These were cut off of the apple tree here. We pruned it back because it was way too big. So we've kept all these to make hugelkultur beds, hugelkultur mounds. So we're going to use those to do that with. We've got some stones that were pulled off of the side of the house when we had the little driveway installed on the side of the house. These were stones that were over there, so those are going to kind of become raised bed border stones. Those are very expensive to buy, and so this should make a really nice large bed, or possibly a fire pit that will go in the middle of the yard. This is all the dirt that I've dug up from where we transplanted the trees, and slowly making our own compost. I'm going to build another compost bin with the 3 pallets that we have there. I just picked those up at a local grocery store. They just throw these away, so I stop and pick up the good solid ones. Most of them are usually broken, but this is actually not for reuse. So they're used one time and then they're tossed out. So every time we go to the grocery store, we check their bin and pull out what we can use. And we've been dumping our lawn grass in here to help speed up the compost pile. But I've got grass here on top of a big load of soil, and another just grass compost here. Now this thing was full just the other day, and so you can see how much it's broken down just over the, I don't know, probably about 2 weeks. So it's half its size now. And back here we have a forest of, what do you call this plant? Can't think of it right now. Thistle is on my mind, but it's not thistle. But it hurts when you touch it, that's for sure. You do not want to touch this stuff. But this is very nutritious stuff if you just eat the sprouts. We've made some pesto with it. So we've got plenty of it, but we don't need all this for sure. yeah, this is what the yard looks like as of April, May 25th today, I believe. And so big changes are going to happen over the months and year with the way the backyard looks. And we're gonna attempt to convert most of the property into a food forest, permaculture setup, with garden spaces and things like that. But for the most part, I like the permaculture food forest style, and it makes it a lot easier to just maintain. It just maintains itself, really. So yeah, this is what it looks like. I'm gonna add a more water feature here, pond, make this a little bit more functional to grow fish and water the property with it. We do have fish as well. And so slowly but surely we're building our little food forest and food security setup with as much as we can, as quickly as we can. But that's a little update, and we'll update it from time to time just so you can see the changes that are made around the property and how we kind of make things work to the best of our ability. Well, thanks for watching.